Hold on, I'm not too long. Wọlé. Hello? She might get to it. No, ó pọ̀ sí kò jẹ́ pé òun wà ló ń sọ̀rọ̀. Okay. Àwọn là ń sọ̀rọ̀ sẹ́. Àwọn là ń sọ̀rọ̀ sẹ́. Àwọn là ń sọ̀rọ̀. 100% àwọn là ń sọ̀rọ̀. Ní mo gbọ́ kọ́tà ń sọ̀rọ̀.
I'm sending live YouTube live for
YouTube kí ni?
Tẹ́lẹ̀ wà connected ni.
Mo tún lọ àrùn lákèbí mẹ́rin òṣìṣẹ́ yẹ kí ni èèyàn òṣìṣẹ́. Hello? Testing? Ẹ̀rọ má ti change ẹ̀ kí ló ṣe kí ni yìí? Mouse yìí. Wọ́n sì ń kí ló ṣe máa sọ.
When is live?
No audio. Ṣé ká lọ́dún bẹ̀rẹ̀?
Send the link here.
Má sì ò ṣiṣẹ́. Má sì ò ṣiṣẹ́.
ṣe ní ìsìn bóyá ó bá fẹ́ kọ́kọ́ nínú.
Let's go live. Let's go live.
Ẹ bá mi send the link YouTube yẹn fẹ́ òbí ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ lórí website exactly bó ṣe wà lẹ́yìn.
So YouTube máa jẹ́
Ilé ni
lọ sí YouTube wọn.
ẹ ti lo WhatsApp mi throughout ẹ kàn máa mú send sórí WhatsApp mi wọ́n fẹ́ máa broadcast ẹ̀.
Ẹ lọ sí ẹ kí n lọ sí olórí.
Ó tó láàbù nísìn ẹ kílíkì ẹ̀kẹ́ kan send ẹ̀ sí mi sórí WhatsApp mi.
How are you? Nice to meet you, sir. How you doing? Thank you very much. WhatsApp is not connected yet. WhatsApp is not connected yet. Camera, you know. Ẹ wo, ẹ yẹ ká lo audio, ẹ yẹ ká lo.
Ilé dání.
No, eléyìí kò pick anything.
Àbẹ́fẹ́ lọ tẹ̀sẹ̀ lọ́rùn lọ tẹ̀sẹ̀ lọ́rùn ẹ̀ lọ́rùn ẹ̀mú dání ìdí wireless ni.
Kò ṣiṣẹ́ sẹ́, mo ti rí.
Ẹ̀mú báyìí ẹ fi ní ṣe ọdún yìí ẹ gbọ́ ló ń sọ̀rọ̀.
kò tí ì ṣe mí ò gbọ́ nǹkan tó ń sọ gan létí mi so mi mọ̀ bóyá ilé ìṣiṣẹ́ ọ̀bẹ́ kò ṣiṣẹ́.
ó sì lo
tẹ́tíkẹ́tì líǹkì ẹ̀ ṣáàbí mo ní kí n sẹ́dẹ̀ síbẹ̀ WhatsApp lélẹ̀. kí ló kú? Fi kí mo tí ẹ líǹkì sí.
We're gonna play some single fans going now. You're funny. No, so what the plan was that
To make sense right now. Sano de camera yìí lamanu. Kò ṣiṣẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Dẹ̀ dọ́tí pé sano kọ̀ọ̀kan ní. Sano de camera yìí lamanu. Kò ṣiṣẹ́ rá. Ìwé kó máa gbé tẹ̀lé yàgbé. Ló kí sọ̀rọ̀ kan náà. Máa fi sọ kámẹ́rà mi bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ fi sórí náà ẹ fi sí. Yóò máa lọ sí kàbí náà bẹ́ẹ̀ káyọ̀ máa mú káàkiri. Ẹ fi sórí eléyìí. Ṣètò abẹ́fẹ́ lọ sáà nílé. Ẹ máa lọ sáà nílé yìí. Ẹ fi lè ṣe ẹrú eléyìí. Mi ò ní lo mi ti block science bẹ́ẹ̀ ọjọ́ mi o. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni ẹ̀ kò ní ẹ̀ fi ṣe ara kò gbé. Tu go la Facebook. Hein? For life. So, Kí n lo kí n transmit àgbàrẹ́ tó. Náà tí máa fi yẹn eléyìí síbẹ̀. Mo máa record fún kámẹ́rà mi. Ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ tí máa get to stand lápò bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ṣé máa sẹ́ni sí? Ok. So, ẹ kì í sẹ́ni sí kí n gbọ́ feedback. Ní ẹ̀. Kì í tó fún ilẹ̀kùn ẹ̀rọ fún ilé-èdè. Ní ìyẹn mo fún àwọn fún ẹ̀fún. Small. Yẹ́rọ wọn tó ní blue lára. Ó fi nílé.
Sọ́dọ̀ yẹn. Ibi ni ọdún yẹn. Ẹ ń lo kámẹ́rà yẹn. Ilé ìgbìmọ̀ wọlé.
Because ẹ ti dá sẹ́tì sẹ́wọ̀n.
Ṣé o lọ sọ́dọ̀ yẹn?
Wo leléyìí? Ẹ má sọ̀rọ̀.
Èmi sì lólè mú wọn, ti lólè yẹn.
Kámẹ́rà lélẹ̀.
Cinema.
Olè. Òkú ṣiṣẹ́ olè. Ti kámẹ́rà ni. So tí wá díẹ̀ náà wá.
Hi, you alright? I'm good, thank you.
Baby,
Yeah, I'm
oh, your
good,
baby.
I'm good. Yeah?
What's the name again?
Huh?
What's the name?
Asia. Yeah. Are you dealing with my singing? Are you doing the backing track?
I've
With the
not
words?
been told anything. Are you sure it's not major?
Major said he's not doing it, he's gonna sort it out. Eh?
Speak to him first. I don't
Where
know.
is he?
Somewhere around there. Oh. Testing.
Sorry, are you with the major by any chance? It was just right here. Do you know where he is?
The camera. It should be. Right here.
Is that?
That's the mic.
That's my mic.
It's my mic. Oh, yours.
Give it me for me.
Because we are streaming, so I'm using that for streaming.
Oh, right, okay. So it's going to pick up from here.
We will pick up from there. But
Right.
remember, it's mine, not yours.
Can we start off by saying hello to everybody? Good evening and welcome today to CAHN's Black History World Building event as part of Black History Month. Now, this event is being streamed online. You can watch it back on CAHN's website, which is cahn.org.uk. So if you do see me giving a cheeky wink to the camera, that is to the people that's at home. My name is Simone Riley. I'm from BBC Radio Manchester and also on community radio station Legacy 90.1, and I'll be your host for this evening. Today's event is special because we are here in person. Last year we were watching online, on Zoom, shouting out, "You're on mute!" But today we are here in person. So before we start off today's proceeding, I'd love if you'd turn to the person beside you and just say a big hello and good evening. Doesn't that feel good? Just to see someone and say hello. Now this evening we're going to explore Black community wealth. To date, they're Black directors in top roles on Financial Times Stock Exchange is 0, and that is from 2014. Whilst on the other hand, it's estimated that Black British community has around about £3 billion to spend, but only 2% is spent with Black British businesses. Tonight, we're going to explore in depth with keynote speakers, also celebrating Black community, why this is happening. Now, you may see a lot of stalls around you. Also, we're going to get some entertainment, and this is a great bit, there's a food truck outside. So if you are feeling a bit peckish, when we have an interval later, you can go and get some nibbles. I am proud now to introduce to stage Faye Bruce, Deputy Lieutenant, CAHN's Chair.
Good evening, everybody. It's so good to be out. I think after the last 18 months we've been locked in, and it's so nice to have this event in person. So thank you to everybody for coming here this evening. I know it's been really difficult getting here with the traffic. It's been an absolute nightmare. So thank you again for all your efforts. So welcome to this Black History Month celebratory launch event for Greater Manchester. It's basically, you know, an absolutely wonderful opportunity just to come out and to celebrate all the contributions that Black people make to society. So on behalf of the staff, the directors, the volunteers, all in CAHN, we just want to thank you again for all of the support that you give to our community. So Black History Month has been celebrated in the UK since 1987, and it's a celebration of cultural diversity. And all year round, we celebrate the many positive contributions of Black people that make our city region thrive. However, we are grateful to a dedicated month to celebrate Black history during October. I'm delighted to be standing here as well to celebrate Black History Month this time, because we've received commitments for this to be a civic event for the first time in Greater Manchester. So we're really, really delighted to have that. And also the fact that we can celebrate it across the 10 regions of Greater Manchester. So we really want to embed that in all of our areas of Greater Manchester. So Black people in Britain have made some significant contributions that make this country a better place. And we've been truly committed to improvements to across our public services, education, housing and so on. And in other areas, the Black community have added vibrancy, creativity, innovation across our arts, culture, world of sport and music, where some incredible achievements have been added to the British way of life. However, at CAHN, we know that socio-economic inequalities can impact us in many different ways, leading to challenges in education, health, housing, and in other areas of our lives. This year, our theme is Black Community Wealth Building. And in October, Black-owned businesses will be given centre stage to promote their business. And you'll see around the stalls here, most of them are Black-owned, and what we're looking for is for you to support them. And for the whole of October, we'll be really focusing on how we invest in Black businesses. So I've written in your programmes that there are not only disparities in health inequalities, and CAHN is all about looking at health inequalities, and we look at all of those different aspects that impact upon health for our community and other communities as well. However, there are stark inequalities in business. And in the business world, there's a disproportionate lack of consumer and banking investment in black business. And from my recent reading in the UK, there are also no black directors in top roles on the Financial Times Stock Exchange board since 2014. Whilst on the other hand, and as Simonis mentioned, it is estimated that the black British community has a spending power of 300 billion, yet only 2% of this is spent within black businesses. And we need to work together to change that. So we're delighted to have a number of people speaking during this launch event that represent some of the incredible organisations that are trying and enabling our black-led organisations to thrive. So during this event, I'm really looking forward to celebrating, supporting the many organisations that strive to make some incredible achievements in Greater Manchester. I just want to ask you to support the many events that will be taking place during the whole of October. There are so many, and we've got some of those listed in the directory that's been given to you this evening. So from me, the board, the staff and volunteers, thank you again for coming, and I hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Faye. I'd now like to bring on stage one of CAHN's patrons, which is Dean Govinda, MBE, also, as I said, one of the patrons. So, Dean Roger Govinda.
It's wonderful to welcome you to the Cathedral here in Manchester in our 600th year of the original collegiate church that was established on this site. And we are very thrilled that this year the Black History launch event tonight can be held in person. So it's really fantastic to welcome all of you to the Cathedral, and it's great to be one of the patrons of CAHN. It's also my wonderful joy to welcome our Civic guests. It's good to see all of you here tonight. Our Lord Mayor Tommy and his wife, together with our High Sheriff, Diane, your husband, together with Andy, our Greater Manchester Mayor, together with MP Afzal Khan is with us. He's sat at the back somewhere, sort of hiding in the shade, in the shadows there. I think he might want to escape a bit early. Would you keep an eye on MP Afzal Khan, please? Kathy Powell, it's lovely to have you here with us, Chair of Manchester Foundation Trust, and she was talking about all the exciting things going on in her world together with your husband. Welcome to you as well. Some of you may know that I'm South African by birth. I spent the first 40 years of my life, and I won't tell you how many years I've lived now in England, in Africa, in South Africa, born, educated, ordained, married, and all of that in South Africa. There is a saying in the church, in the Anglican church to which I belong, back in Africa. It goes something like this. When the missionaries came from Western Europe, when the missionaries came to Africa, they had the Bible and we had the land. And they said, let us close our eyes and let us pray. And we did. And when we opened our eyes, we had the Bible and they had the land. It's quite a somber sort of thing to reflect on. The reason I share that with you is that that is the experience of black folk in Africa. And we know that wealth is very, very closely linked to land. Who owns the land and what the land is able to generate. And of course we see a fair amount of that here in this country as well, when we talk, and we'll be hearing tonight all these great stories of wealth generation. So, with all of that in mind, I pray that you will enjoy tonight, and thank you once again for being here at this great event. Lastly, could I say that as part of our 600th anniversary celebrations, we shall be having an inaugural Clarkson Day on the 28th of October this year. It's a full day program. Now, those of you who do not know Clarkson, which would probably be many of us, Thomas Clarkson, the anti-slave campaigner, about 200 years ago, alongside William Wilberforce, made his first speech in this cathedral to a packed audience, campaigning against the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. As part of our own commitment to social justice, we are inaugurating our annual Clarkson Day, when we shall be focusing on racism, slavery, and all of the things that we need to be doing for a more equitable and equal and inclusive society here in our city, country, and beyond. So if I could ask you to diarise on the 28th of October, starting at 10 a.m., and now Lord Mayor will be here with us to launch the day for us, going right through till about 4 o'clock. Thanks very much.
Now we're going to get to our first piece of entertainment. Don't worry, it's not me singing. We've had enough rain today in Manchester. I'm now going to bring up Team Kaizo. They're a youth community group which are based in Manchester. Had the pleasure of seeing them perform on numerous occasions. Now Kaizo have talented team members aged from 11 to 25. Mama Adodu is going to be dancing to Back to Sender by Wusu and Team Salute. And also you've got Zay Julius, who will be singing I Know Where, and that is from the brilliant musical Hairspray. all hot. I definitely want to try some of those dance moves later. Now, I'm going to introduce to stage the Lord Mayor of Manchester, Councillor Tommy Judge.
I always get sent up to for something like that. I always get sent up. I just want to let you know before we start that when I was younger, my wife will confirm this, we used to go to clubs in Manchester. I was always known as Tricky Legs with my dancing. But my not as tricky as theirs was today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here this evening to support the launch event of the Black History Month in the wonderful building that is Manchester Cathedral. It is fantastic that this event brings together people of diverse communities and ethnicities to promote diversity and education for our community. I am very proud to live in such a diverse and multicultural city as Manchester, where we are committed to the promotion of community cohesion. Black History Month started in 1926 in the United States as a way to recognise the achievements of people of African descent. For the last 30 years, Black History Month has been celebrated here in the UK. This gives us an opportunity to look back and recognise the outstanding contribution which African and Afro-Caribbean people have made in their lives here in Britain. Black History Month also provides us with an opportunity each year to celebrate the success Black British people have in every walk of our lives. Well done to all the board, staff and volunteers of the Caribbean and African Health Network to put together this wonderful event. And another special thank you. During the last 18 months, 19 months when we've gone through this pandemic, thank you very much for the work you did, working alongside Manchester City Council in promoting vaccines and stuff like that. It was greatly appreciated, your work you did. Have a wonderful evening and thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tommy Judge. Now it's time for a short speech from the Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham.
Good evening, everybody. It's not fair when a pretend mayor has to follow a real mayor, is it? You know, with no shade or anything like that. And we've got two real mayors. We've got the Mayor of Wigan here as well, who's come over tonight. So it's wonderful to see you, Yvonne, with us as well. And all of you, and it's fantastic to be back in this amazing building. And I hope this becomes now an annual civic event. And I certainly will commit to coming every year. I think it's really important that we launch Black History Month in Greater Manchester in this way, is it not? With all of the community here, everyone fully supporting it, and it's just great, Dean Rogers, that you've given us the cathedral for this purpose this evening. We're truly grateful to you. And I'm going to follow the Lord Mayor and give a shout out Charles, Faye, and to all of our colleagues at CAHN for the amazing job that you do in supporting and representing our Black communities right across Greater Manchester. You are truly valued partners of ours at the Greater Manchester level. You've done so much to change things already, but I know there's much more to come. But thanks to you for everything that you do, and we really appreciate it. It's important that this is the first Black History Month in person, as people have said this evening, but it's of course the first Black History Month proper since Black Lives Matter. And I think that's something that's going to be at the forefront of everyone's minds tonight. The piece of Black history that really resonates most with me from this city is that time 170 years ago when the mill workers of this city, who had nothing basically, people who had nothing, hard lives, hard work, they refused to handle slave-picked cotton. Isn't that an amazing thing that all those years ago, the predecessors of the people of Manchester said Black Lives Matter, even though they didn't know those people, that they were thousands and thousands of miles away. If that doesn't give you some kind of inspiration, then really I don't know what will really. So this city has a long-standing, deep-rooted commitment to racial equality, and that should make us all proud. But also, I think it puts an extra burden on the shoulders of anybody in a leadership position in this city today to live up to the standards that were set all of those years ago, and do similarly inspirational things in this day and age. And I think we are aspiring to do that. I've certainly been learning myself, if I can be honest with you all this evening, since the murder of George Floyd and all of the events that have taken place since. I've been thinking a lot about how we achieve true equality and how we move from an era of words about it to actually one of deeds. Because that's what I was hearing if I was listening closely to people in our black communities. There was a sense of too much lip service, easy things that could be said without the action to make a difference. And you know, I spent this summer reading a book that had quite a profound effect on me. A book called Why We Kneel, How We Rise. And I would recommend it to anybody. It's written by the former West Indian cricketer Michael Holding. Actually, it's such a powerful book because he goes right back through history. And he talks about the role of black people in history almost being kind of wiped out of the history books. And also of the kind of racism, the everyday racism that he experienced. And it really made me look at things through different eyes, and I would recommend it to all of you. I was so moved by it. I still have in my mind that I think we should recommend to our schools that everyone, that they promote it within the schools and everybody should read it. It was that impactful from my point of view. But it does make me think, you know, when I read it, it has got to be an era, as the suffragette said, of deeds, not words, rather than the other way round. And I take that, my responsibility in that regard, very seriously. So to pick up the theme of tonight, when we think of black community wealth building, what can I do as Mayor of Greater Manchester? And I've asked myself that question. And I'll give you one answer tonight. There are others I could go through, and I'm not going to talk for too long. But I want to leave you with a tangible piece of action that we're going to take. And that is a new partnership we're forming with Operation Black Vote. It's a new leadership and mentoring scheme that is intended to bring forward a new generation of leaders from black communities. And the initial cohort will be for 25 people, aged between 18 and 30, from communities in Greater Manchester experiencing racial inequality. And Diane Medal, who's been such a driving force behind our Young Persons Guarantee and a role model for people in Greater Manchester, she will be helping us ensure that it achieves everything we want it to achieve. In effect, it's recognising that across Greater Manchester we do not have people in positions of leadership in all walks of life, and that has to change, and that's what we're committing to doing. So the scheme is going to begin recruiting later this year, and the first group will graduate, we hope, in the spring next year. But this will be a scheme that repeats and repeats so that we do something to ensure proper representation at every level of Greater Manchester life for all communities, including the black community. I'll finish on this point because sometimes in these times it's been hard to have hope, hasn't it? Have I been the only one in that position, or have you felt that at times too? Such have been the events that we've been living through. But you know what gave me hope in the summer? It was not the speeches of any politicians, it was the actions of footballers based in this city who in the middle of a major tournament, came under pressure from politicians to stop taking the knee. Unbelievably, those people even encouraged people to boo the taking of the knee. And you know, it took extraordinary courage from those young men, many of them based in this city, to stick by their principles. And I pay tribute to their teammates for sticking by them as well, and to carry on doing what they believed in. And by doing that, they completely turned the debate around. And people, I think, absolutely supported what they were doing. And that's the kind of strength, the kind of leadership that we need to see. So, Raheem, Marcus, and others, we are very proud of you indeed. You are giving us hope that actually things will change in the future. We will begin to make this a matter of deeds, not words. I look forward to working with all of you every year where we come together to launch the start of Black History Month here in Greater Manchester, that every year we have more and more to be proud of every year. Every year we've changed more lives for the better. Every year we have taken another step forward to making Greater Manchester the most equal, the most diverse, the best city region for anyone of any background to grow up, get on and grow old. I think we're well on the way to being that, but let's work together to make sure we continue to make progress down that road. So thank you everybody for being here this evening, and here's to a great Black History Month in Greater Manchester 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Andy Burnham. Now, I've got a few things up my sleeve for you. Later on, you'll be able to see an African dance group. They're going to be performing. And another thing that I've got is a fashion show. So if you're into your fashion like me, make sure that you're in here for that. I'd now like to bring up Diane Mary Hawkins, OBE. She's a High Sheriff of Greater Manchester.
Thank you very much. And what a pleasure it is to be here this evening as High Sheriff of Greater Manchester. And I am, believe it or not, wearing two hats tonight, not just this feathered one, because I'm also here representing the Lord Lieutenant, who sadly can't be here tonight due to ill health, but sends his very best wishes and greetings to all of you, and really wishes you all the very best for the launch of Black History Month. I was delighted to be asked to come. The Caribbean and African Health Network have done so much already to improve health literacy within the Caribbean and African community within Greater Manchester. And my first thought was how sad it is that it is necessary that they should need to exist to do that, because we should all be able to promote health literacy amongst everyone within Greater Manchester. It should not need to be separated out into different communities. And I'm really glad to be here tonight to play a part in saying, let's all work together and have the opportunity to understand the difficulties faced by the Caribbean and African community, share that understanding, and seek to promote solutions. There are people far better placed than me to identify what those solutions might be. But I look forward very much indeed to hearing what those solutions could be and how I may play a part within Greater Manchester. I was thrilled to see the dancing earlier on. That was just awesome. I don't think I could get my limbs to move anything like that, and I'm really, really jealous. And I'm looking forward to seeing more presentations later this evening. So I would say, please do include me in your events. I'm looking forward to more events within Black History Month. I think a lot has been said about the plans for the future, and let's not forget that Manchester has been welcoming incomers for over 1,000 years and longer, since Roman times. We've never changed. Manchester has always been welcoming and continues to welcome people, and I hope that that will long continue. So it is in all our interest to promote cohesion between all of us who live and work in this wonderful city of ours. So thank you very much for inviting me, and do all enjoy the evening.
Thank you very much. Dr. Ngozi Agassi is a Group Associate Medical Director, also Clinical Head of Division and Consultant Neonatologist. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It's a real privilege and a pleasure to be here this evening and see so many colleagues and friends and celebrate Black History Month. As has been said, I'm a neonatologist and I work at Manchester Foundation Trust. I'm also one of the Group Associate Medical Directors. But one of my roles I'm really pleased about and proud about is being the medical leader of Caribbean African health. And in this role, one of the things we've done during the pandemic is to do a weekly health hour, which has been really welcomed. I grew up not far from here. I was born in a hospital that's now a block of flats, Withington, and I grew up in Mars Platting. And I would never have thought that I'd now be working in one of the leading institutions, not just in Manchester, but in the UK. I almost feel that I'm like a Blackpool stick of rock, that if you cut me through, I'd be the NHS. My grandmother worked with the NHS, and she worked in the hospital that I'm working in now. And she started off there. She came here, she was one of the early people that came with Windrush, and she worked as a cook. My mother Elaine, who's in the audience today, was a nurse at Manchester Foundation Trust. I'm working there now, and my daughter's a junior doctor. To have 4 generations who've been able to contribute to the NHS. Not just in England, but in Manchester, the city I was born in, and I'm now working in, is just a dream that probably I would have never have thought would have happened. Being the medical lead for CAHN has meant that I've been able to help to run these health hours. And one of the things that I was really surprised about was that I was in a food shop the other day, and somebody said, I know what my PSA is. Now, if you're a man here, and you're black, and you're over 45, and you don't know what your PSA is, go and watch one of our health hours on YouTube. Really important. But also, we've been advocating not just looking after your health, but empowering you to take charge. There's lots of things that you can do, so we advocate measuring your blood pressure twice a week. But one of the real impacts we've had, and it's been a privilege of mine as well, is to see the impact of the COVID vaccine. And we did a lot of work trying to allay problems. Now, if you haven't had your vaccine, I can't leave today. We've had 18 months of being really worried and concerned about the impact of this dreadful disease. I'm a neonatologist, so I look after premature babies. And what I've seen in the last few months is that because the messages were slightly mixed at the beginning, pregnant women haven't been taking the vaccine. And now I've been looking after premature babies who've been born to women who are unwell, and their babies are also unwell. So there's still quite a lot of work to do in terms of the vaccines. If you haven't had it, please, I implore you to think about it, because we're now getting the boosters. I'm going to end on just a note to say that enjoy the evening. I understand that there's lots more dancing and lots of things to be done. And just thank you very much for inviting me, and look forward to continuing to work with the Caribbean African Health Network. Thank you.
Okay, we've all got our programme, and hope you've got one in front of you. It just tells you of all the different stuff that's going to be happening through the month of October. So if there's anything in there that takes your fancy, do get online to CAHN's website and register for them. Also as well, CAHN do a Saturday, I believe it is, where they do a health hour, something that I've been listening to throughout the pandemic, and I still do it now. So that is something also. We have got some entertainment coming for you. I don't know whether to keep you in suspense to let you know who it is, but it is going to be someone from Team Kaizo. So I've just got the thumbs up, which means that they're all here. So should we get some singing for you? I'd like to bring on stage now from Team Kaizo, Zay Julius, who will be singing I Know Where from the Hairspray musical.
1, 2, 1, 2. Hello guys, we are Team Kai, so we are here to perform for you guys. We had a project last week called the Be Well Project, and we wrote a song about just being happy, so we thought we would come and share this song for you guys today, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's go, Keith. Sorry guys, 1 second. Alright guys, also, we got a poem for you, so I'm gonna read this out. Right, cool. Be who you are, love yourself, love the ones who love you like they love no one else. If you're ever in doubt, don't ever question your living, because God made the best creations from his own image.
Love yourself before you love someone else. Love your life and the things you do, because that's the reason why we breathe, why we eat, and why we pray before we sleep.
What makes me happy? When I feel the music rushing through my veins, when I hear no feel the lowest in my heart. Music, that's what makes me happy.
HAPPY, that's how I feel most of the time. The music makes me smile, melody is so divine. The air I breathe, the breeze I feel makes me happy I'm here, so much love I feel. You remove the pain like a surgeon and you would. I've got layers to my heart, but we'll call you a pure.
We sometimes look for the joy in the outside world to give us security on the inside. But in time I found God, the joy that I can only show in my daily life. Through trials and tribulations and through pain and strife, I realized if I just unlock the door and open windows, there'd be a sense of life.
Right. This is a song. I hope you guys can catch a vibe also. Bitch. Listen. Yo, when I say I'm happy, it's not for something. I ain't saying for less, but I'm working for large. Yeah, I got homies that got me for life, but I know I got my top because I see like a God. I appreciate my time because I know I provide. I stay humble, there ain't no one like me. I may have a temper like Tiny, but no, I'm a real general like Kennedy. Met a lot of women, but you know about my energy. Man, they want the benefits, that's why they always telling me I'm trying to find a better me. I've been grafted, been doing more left, my police don't call me a centipede. I don't want to say checkers, don't check for me. My haters, but they respect for me, because there's no end to me. It's something changed like a fruit full of dread. I've been tired, but it's the same guys.
ideas, some brighter visions, and what's the vision of the future where I can solve that? Happiness isn't too far, I think when it's right inside of you, got some potential where I can make a life. We keep some people trying to play a card and trying to play it right. It's like something I can it's time to use a fight. You stuck up in the dark, I know you've seen the light. You stuck up in the dark, so I know you've seen the light.
Before you rush off, I want you to just tell me how important projects like Team Kaizo has been for you guys.
Projects like these have been amazing. I mean, we've been going for so many years, over 10 years. Kimo knows because he's the founder and the CEO of Kaizo. We've done so many projects, you know, helping the youth there, you know, trying to get them off the street. We've done so many more that have changed our community, and that's what we want to do in this day and age. You know, as young teenagers, these are the things that we need to do more to actually change people's lives. You know, because there's a lot going on in the community. You know, and it's not good to see the same thing over and over again. So doing projects like these, the Be Well projects, and performing songs like these will actually give you guys an insight to what we do. And obviously, thanks to Kimo for giving us that help and support with these opportunities. So yeah, thank you.
That was really perfect, thank you. Can we give a massive round of applause? Because I know when I was at that age, I was there dancing to Blocks and Take That, but you just took it to another level. Also as well, a big shout out as well to Kimoy B. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
We're getting some more from Team Kaizo later on in the evening. I'd now like to bring to stage some dancers. Are you ready for this one? Because I've got all my costume on. So I'm going to stand at the side and see if they can teach me a few moves or two. So we're going to get today's African dance group. They're all the way from Rochdale, and they join me now. Thank you. Whilst we're waiting for the music, I thought I'd bring someone on stage with me. This is the head of the dance group. If you'd like to tell us what your group is about.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. Our dance group come from Africa in southern Cameroon. I think most of the English people will know where southern Cameroon is because they colonized us in the 60s. So we live in Rochdale. This is my family. We just thought that it would be a good thing to share our culture around here from Cameroon. So this dance is one of the dances that if you are in Cameroon, if you join our occasion. So we are here to demonstrate what we do back home when we have occasion like this. And thank you very much.
Now, I've got a request because I've got two left feet. I've got two dance moves, which is right and left. So do you think you can teach me one of the moves while waiting? You're looking puzzled. Just one move.
Yeah, but sometimes it's really cool when the music is going on.
We can freestyle. Look, I've got a little double act here. Ant and Deck, eat your heart out. So do you think, one move?
Yeah, I can do, yeah.
Let's see.
That's it.
Okay. I've not brought my inhaler with me, so that was a bit much. I think I'll slow down now. Kemoy B, are we ready to go? The little girl there with Can we give a big round of applause, please? Hello, do you want to stand in the middle of your thing?
Yeah. Can we do the dance? Dance, can you do a little dance with me? She's a bit shy, but she's a good
I think we've got the music ready. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, we're ready.
Are you ready, beautiful? Yeah?
Beautiful regalia, food and hospitality. Messaging has always been lacking until this day. With the rising of the chief's singing messenger, delivering every message with a song. She will do me off.
feel all the love in the room. And a big shout out to the little babies as well that are featuring on the performance as well today. I've got to say they need a round of applause as well. Now, Mark Adderstone, I'm not going to call you up to do a dance, but you're going to give us a speech today. Mark Adderstone, he is the chairman of Beaverbrooks, the Jewellers.
Hi Sheriff, Lord Mayor, Mayor of Wigan, and Andy Burnham, don't see him, but it's good to hear him speak before. I just got to take up an issue with the High Sheriff, if you don't mind, because you were saying about the movement and you know, your flexibility and your limbs and everything. It is mandatory as High Sheriff to dance, so it's going to happen. I'm sorry to tell you that, Diane, but there you go. Well, certainly it was 2 years ago. And that's the point. I am a former High Sheriff of Greater Manchester, and I had the pleasure of experiencing the launch, or the whole of Black History Month in October 2019. And I have to say, it was an incredible experience for me. I went into the year with the theme of diversity and integration. And the experience that I had and the learnings that I had from that year were quite spectacular. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Faye Bruce and Charles from CAHN. I spent time with the African and Caribbean Mental Health Services, of which I am now a patron. So I do really empathise with the situation that I feel a lot of the black community feel that they're in. You know, I was exposed to some of the information about how black people, particularly black males, would suffer higher levels of mental health because of the inequalities of job opportunities, and even if they get the jobs, they wouldn't get the promotions necessarily. And it's just all manifests itself, and it was a really interesting and somber, actually, realization for me. So I felt that I really wanted to get involved with the black community, and that's why I became a patron of the African and Caribbean mental health services. I'm actually also the chair of the Jewish Representative Council of Greater Manchester and Region, and it's actually quite an interesting model that I would quite like to support the black community with. In terms of cohesion, because I do feel that there are so many aspects to the black community that perhaps would benefit from coming together, and it's certainly something I'm happy to work with Faye and Charles on as we progress. So yeah, I just want to add my congratulations to this wonderful launch and to this fantastic month celebrating Black history. And if I may just leave you with a tip from the top. Did you watch on the BBC last year? There was a series of plays by Steve McQueen. One of them was called Lovers Rock. I don't know if that, yeah, okay, got a little bit of recognition there. And I thought they were amazing and gave a great insight into what it was like to be a black person living in the 1980s. And I got quite into this Lovers Rock music as well, so it was very interesting. Anyway, just re-released and remastered last week, Carol Thompson, Hopelessly in Love. So if you like easy reggae, Lovers Rock, my recommendation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, DJ Mello. And if you want to listen to DJ Mello and some of the other DJs, they've got a stand at the back with tunes, so you can go on there and listen. Dr. Marilyn Connery, OBE, is an award-winning serial social entrepreneur, green tech innovator, also SAM ambassador, board member of Greater Manchester Local Enterprise Partnership. I'd like to bring her on stage now.
Good evening, everybody. It's really great to see so many of you. What I want to talk to you about is really action. We have to move beyond mere words, and it is now about deeds. I think COVID shed a light on the inequalities in Greater Manchester. And I and a group of people, other black entrepreneurs, came together and decided we wanted to do something about it. And the something we wanted to do about it was community wealth building. Because we're not going to solve our problems by waiting for somebody else to do the right thing. The truth is, we are our own saviours, and our future is in our own hands. So, we started the Black United Representation Network with three main aims. A, increasing the number of black people in senior leadership positions in Greater Manchester, because at that time there were none. And so we set about doing that, and I'm one of the first beneficiaries. It's about putting yourself forward. So I have the honour of being the first person of African heritage to sit on the board of the local enterprise partnership. And whilst that is great, what I'm saying to you is I'm the first, but I do not want to be the last. And I'm putting a challenge out to you to put yourselves forward for these opportunities, because the truth is you're already good enough. Your lived experience that you can bring to the table can help shape the economic policies in this city. And what I'm doing on the left is really championing something called inclusive procurement. I don't know if people have heard of that, but what that's about is Greater Manchester has a public procurement spend of 8 billion every year. And what we're calling for is just 1% of that was spent with black, Asian, minority, ethnic communities and businesses. You're talking about £80 million. That would transform so many lives and transform our communities and help to grow successful businesses. The other thing that we're doing is capacity building black businesses so that they can win tenders. And third, it's about international trade. Leveraging our connections with our countries of origin, whether or not it's the Caribbean, my parents are Jamaican, whether that is Africa, it's leveraging those connections because Africa is rising. Africa is going to create fantastic opportunities for entrepreneurs here to do business with Africa. But what you have to do is to develop your skill sets, develop your business ideas, and get ready so that you can leverage those opportunities. And the other thing that I'm doing on the local enterprise partnership is also championing inclusive investment. And what that's about is the fact that at this moment in time in the UK, only one black female entrepreneur in the last 10 years has ever secured Series A investment. And for black males, it's equally as dire. Now, if you're a black entrepreneur and you have great ideas, you cannot grow a business unless you have equal access to investment. So that's the thing that needs to change, and that's the thing that I'm talking to Andy about, to say not just leadership programs, but actually Manchester, the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, needs to start investing in black and Asian businesses. I had a chat with them about 2 years ago, and up until that point, no investment had been made in a black or Asian business. That's the thing that has to change. So there's a big reset that's going on at the moment. And what I'm saying to all of you is urging you to be the change that you want to see, to step forward, and particularly even if you don't believe that you have the capabilities to do it, still step forward, because you're not doing it for yourself. We have to do it for the next generation. We cannot allow, and I have grandsons now, I have 3 sons and 2 grandsons. I cannot allow this situation to continue. So we truly are going to build Greater Manchester back better, and we need to harness the spirit of Marcus Garvey and his Black Star Liner. He was the first that talked about community wealth building and us doing it for ourselves. So we need to harness that spirit and come together and think much bigger. And lastly, I'm just leaving you with another thing. I just need to say a big thank you to One Manchester Housing, who believed in us. I run an enterprise, social enterprise, with my son called the Blair Project. They invested a small amount of money to allow us to do a feasibility study, and what that resulted in is us securing £4 million of government investment last year to create something called the Manchester Innovation Activities Hub, which will be in Moss Side Hume, and it's a space where if you've got great ideas, especially around low carbon, electric powertrains, electric drives, it sounds complicated, it's not. If I can do it, you can too. But you can come with your great ideas of how to use solar panels, connect them with a hydrogen fuel cell to create off-grid solutions that you can then export to Africa. So I'm the CEO of that new centre. I want you to, it's opposite Asda and Hume, and that centre opens in March next year, but that is an example of something we did and that we would like you to do too. So thank you very much indeed, and I look forward to seeing lots of you at our new Manchester Innovation Centre. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you've taken the opportunity today to look up above you and take in how beautiful everything is. When I was standing over there, I was just looking at all the people, but something just took my eyes and I looked up and just took in all the beauty of the cathedral. Talking of beauty of cathedral, we're going to go now to fashion, something that I love. And these designs will definitely have you in awe, like the ceiling is doing as well. Let's tell you a bit about the designer. Valerie Touche is a fashion designer. She's also the CEO of the BT Creation fashion company based here in Manchester. Now, like Diana's just said, it's all about sustainability. There's so many times where we'll rush out, get a new outfit, and you forget that you've got it in the back of your wardrobe. How about we utilise what's in our wardrobe and make the most of it? BT Creations is a sustainable fashion company. Enough of the dumping of the wardrobe at charity shops. The current fashion system uses high volumes of non-reusable resources. Let's seek out alternatives. Let's chuck them in the bin, or should we? Let's have a look at these beautiful designs.
For the fashion show. Please lend
does look amazing. Club and full guide. For all information on how you can purchase, speak to who is here. And I'm going to get you, Valerie, to give us a little bit of a shoot down the catwalk. Absolutely beautiful design. Can we get a bigger round of applause? Valerie, I would love for you to come and just tell me a bit more about this creation, because I don't think I gave it justice. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, it's so emotional. Okay, let's make it special. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, CAHN. Thank you, everyone that's here tonight. This collection has, like CAHN has been saying, it took me a good time to put together. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you. I've got some leaflets to give out, and then you can read a bit more about what I do and what all the garments were tonight about. Thank you.
You need to tell us where you can get it from, because I can't be going on to search engines and looking and looking. Have you got any Instagram or social media details?
Yeah. They are on the leaflet. I'm going to give them out now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got leaflets. Enough for everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to bring up our next speaker. So our next speaker is Yvonne Field. Yvonne Field, OBE, is the founder of the and CEO of Unbeatable Initiative. I'd like to bring up Yvonne. I'll try and move this, Yvonne, but it's really heavy and I'm scared if I'll break my nail. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, thank you. Actually, I'll just start with one slight amendment. I'm not OBE at all. So my name's Yvonne Field. I'm the founder and CEO of an organisation called the Ubele Initiative. It's a word that's taken from Swahili to mean the future or the way ahead. You know, I've always wanted to speak in church, and I'd like to speak in a cathedral. What a way to start. And I'd like to thank Charles and his colleagues for inviting me here this evening. I am based in London, but the organisation that I established and run, we are a national and international organisation. And I met Charles under lockdown, so we've only met each other face to face this evening. And it's just been a great relationship that we've built with CAHN and other organisations in Manchester and other places around the country. What I'm going to do this evening is to talk about the work that we've been doing. I'll tell you a little bit about the organisation that I established, what it is we do and why we do it. I'm going to talk a little bit about community wealth building. And also I'm going to talk about some examples of the work that we do, and lastly finish with some challenges and opportunities. I as I said earlier, delighted to be here, and the kind of person that I am in the world, if I get a platform, I try and be a little bit provocative to get people to go away thinking about some of the things that they've heard. Hopefully yeah, maybe I'll leave you with some food for thought. So, Ubele, we were established, in 2014 officially, but I was curious in 2010 about the future of black communities in this country. My parents, like we've heard earlier, are Windrush generation. They've both unfortunately passed away. But when they came here, similar to many migrants, they had a plan to go home. The plan was a 5-year plan. My family are now 4 generations in this country. I'm one of 10. I have 9 siblings. 8 of us are entrepreneurs. I'm the only one in the social system. My other brothers and sisters who are entrepreneurs are artisans and all sorts of things within those spheres because they are of a certain age. And now we have another generation of entrepreneurs. My nieces and nephews and my daughter are all entrepreneurs in their own right. For those of you who are from Caribbean origins, there's a saying that some people can be own way. My family are full of people who are own way, that's why we're entrepreneurs. Because entrepreneurialism is not for the faint-hearted. It's for those people, I think, who want to take risks and can manage risk, who want to work 24/7 as opposed to 9 till 5, and actually, in some ways can make magic in a way that actually, it can be difficult at times to do. So the organisation called Ubele, there's 3 of us as directors, we're a social enterprise. We have now 10 full-time staff equivalent, there's 17 of us in the team, and actually we've got about 15 associates that also work with us on our various initiatives. So the story about what do we do as a plan B, because plan A didn't work, our parents didn't go home, and in fact my family have got many, many diverse cultures woven in them, from, we heard, South Africa to Ghana. My daughter flew back to Nigeria this morning because she's half Lagosian. Sweden and Italy and Scotland and St. Lucia, and so it goes on. That's my family in terms of diversity. So this is a place that we call home in earnest. So in 2015, we wrote a report, we did some research under Ubele, we called it A Place to Call Home. And we looked at what had happened with some of those iconic community spaces that black communities in this country had for a number of decades. I know in Manchester there are spaces that come from that generation. I know that there are spaces under threat at the moment, and that's not just a Manchester story. We have it in London as well, and other cities, Bristol and Leicester and Liverpool and so on and so forth. There are buildings and assets, as we call them, under threat, but they were historically with black communities, and we need to do something about them. So we found through the research, we found that there was a story of loss of those assets, or those assets being under threat. We also heard for the need for a next generation of community leaders. We heard from Andy this evening that Manchester, through Operation Black Vote, is going to develop leadership. We found that back in 2015. We had elder leaders, and then there was a gap. And I think in terms of being provocative, there's a conversation, because we're an intergenerational organisation, but there's a conversation between the elder leaders up and down this country and the younger leaders, so that we can ensure that we don't end up with a huge leadership gap. Ubele, we've got 4 strategic aims that drive the work we do. We actually strengthen communities through enterprise and asset development. We advocate for equity and justice in our communities. We structure and strengthen infrastructure and voice, and we develop people, groups and organisations. We're community rooted as an organisation, and I'll give a couple of examples of what we do in relation to being community rooted, because we started as grassroots. We started in conversation. We spent 3 years talking about what the issues are before we started any real work. We're also intergenerational. As I said, it started with the elder leaders, but actually we're very much a younger leader organisation now. I'm on my way out. We're an enabling organisation. We're collaborative and experiential. And I heard the word from Marilyn around innovation. We also try and do things that are not being done in the social system. So, why do we want to actually build community wealth? The Place to Call Home research was also launched in Manchester. We were here in 2016. We've been doing a lot of work in Manchester over the last 5 years or so. When we talk about community wealth, there are 5 key principles on which it's actually built. So there's an ownership of the local economy. And when we talk about community wealth, we're not just talking about individual wealth, we're talking about wealth that is built collectively and collaboratively, which is quite challenging, because it's easy to go on your own. You can only go so far, though. Those of you who've had businesses will know there comes a point when you have to get someone else to help you, otherwise a business won't grow. So actually, in terms of the kind of cooperative movement and community business movement, there's something about that in terms of the ownership of the local economy. There's also financial power in local places, so that wealth circulates in those places. In Brixton, we have the Brixton pound, we have the pink pound. Lots of cities and neighbourhoods have their own currency that actually circulates in their communities. It's also about what we heard, things like supply chain, in terms of procurement of goods, and also about employment practices like living wage, and employing local people. Those are some of the things that are part of community wealth building. I won't go on. So some of the things that we've done in Ubele that might be of interest, and certainly Charles has been involved in some of them with CAHN. We've actually begun to set up a national strategic alliance for community building for black and minoritized communities, because we need a national collective voice. It's important to do things locally, it's important to do things nationally, regionally, but how also can we do things on a national level to make sure that we can actually make the most of collective thinking, government policies, and opportunities. So the alliance was formed in May this year, and we're just beginning to work together, and that we're linking it to various programs that we're doing, and I'll tell you about one of those other programs. The other programme that has an impact on Manchester that we're involved in is something called the Enterprise Development Programme. And that programme was launched in April. It is to help 80 businesses over the next 3 years, those with a social mission. We've had our first round of applications. We had 170 applications from around the country for a year's support, up to £30,000 in cash and about £10,000 in technical support. We shortlisted those 170 down to 21. 6 were from Manchester. We've ended up with 12, and 2 of them are Manchester groups. Now that's a scale of the demand that we're dealing with. These are organisations that have social missions that want to trade. They want to scale up into enterprises. One of the other things that we've done is that we're based in London, as I said, and we're fortunate, when I talk about community assets, to have a 3.5-acre growing site. As you know, under COVID, food has become really, really challenging because people have been food insecure, and that actually there have been, that people basically have not had food. So we're fortunate that we've got this 3.5-acre site. It has glass houses, it has allotments. We have 7 acres also up the road that we can grow and distribute food. However, we don't have and didn't have a black-led food growing enterprise. It's not that black people don't grow, we grow in abundance. In this country, we grow on allotments mainly and community spaces. But this is developing an enterprise that can supply hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilos or pounds, whatever you say, of food, tomatoes, indigenous food and so on to the market. And that's something called Black Roots, which please come and talk to me afterwards if you're interested in food growing and enterprise. So I'm going to move on just a challenge to end with some challenges. So, we know that the government has a community asset fund. It was launched earlier this year. It's actually it's going to have 8 rounds. The government is looking to give organisations that have community spaces at risk £250,000, but that money needs to be matched. So I'm asking you in Manchester, and I know there's some politicians still here, to actually think about how are black communities going to access that national fund in order to secure some of the assets in Manchester. How is that going to happen? I'll also say to black communities here, and it's good to have heard from Marilyn and others earlier, how are you organising yourselves in order to access some of these opportunities? As we say, go further together. go fast alone. And I think it's really important that we think quite creatively about how we work together. And it is challenging, there's no doubt about that. The Wolves Lake Centre that I'm one of the directors of, we're a consortium of 3 organisations, and it is tough sometimes to have those conversations and to get work done. But actually we've just managed to secure £2.4 million to renovate the site and to actually employ staff through the lottery and our Greater London Authority. So I would like to end just saying that black communities, the time is now. I certainly won't be around to see another opportunity like we've been presented, because when there's a crack in the system, and there's been a major crack in the system, it also allows an opportunity to emerge. So I'd suggest your time is now. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Matt. Are you ready for some more entertainment? We've had dancers, we've had some rappers. It's now time for us to get a choir up. The Dove Choir are going to join me now on stage.
Good evening, everyone. We are a choir, we're a group, we're a singing group. We're called the Doves, and we sing in our local church. We meet in Wally Range. It's a blessing and a privilege to be part of this launch event, and we're grateful to Faye and to Charles for inviting us. And we're going to sing 2 songs. One is going to be in the Nigerian language, which is and the song is Email. And the other in the Ghanaian language, which is Chu. And it says Abu, which is grace. So if you want to learn at least one word from that is not English, let's say Email, let's thank you. Say Abu, which is grace. And I hope it will be a blessing to you.
Thank you very much. We've had entertainment. We're going to get back to the speeches. Later on, you'll be able to go and look at all the stalls that we've got around. And as today's event is about Blackwell, do support the local stalls. Chris Brooks is the interim Chief Executive of Northern Care Alliance. He's coming to give a few words now.
Faye, Charles, our honoured guests, thank you so much for asking me to say a few words at this special event to launch Black History Month. It's a great honour to be here. And it must be something about the NHS, because if you cut through me like the stick of Blackpool Rock, it would say NHS. And I will always be so proud to be working for the NHS. And the opportunity to make a real impact on so many people's lives, it's a privilege. And the NHS and the Northern Care Alliance, and we provide care on the northern arc of Greater Manchester, from Salford all the way through to Oldham. It's full of amazing people doing extraordinary things for those that we serve, our patients, our service users and our families. And we regard our jobs in the NHS often as a vocation, and we're passionate about care. But what then explains those different outcomes? People, for example, who come from a minority ethnic group or have a disability. And there's growing evidence that the factors that lead to this unfairness are systemic and long-standing. And as has been mentioned previously, similar factors are leading to certain groups of staff being denied their careers or promotions that their abilities clearly show they are worthy of. And so within the Northern Care Alliance, our 10-year inclusion roadmap, and this has been developed to address these systemic issues inherent in our processes, our working practices, our mindsets that cause some groups of people to suffer this discrimination, and that leading to harm or disadvantage. So our intention, our ambition for the inclusion roadmap is for it to drive an improvement relentlessly year after year. And just as in our clinical work, we'll use evidence-based actions, coupled with our tried and tested methodologies to deliver that change. And our board will take this roadmap and strategy and commit to set really ambitious targets every year and to track the data and the stories that evidence this progress together. Working closely with the local communities and partnerships we have developed. And just a living example, our commitment to developing a targeted midwifery programme for Black and minority ethnic communities. So the Northern Care Alliance, we're proud of our approach to social value, the purposeful use of what we can do to support economic development of place, to improve health and well-being. And one practical example of this is the way we recruit staff. We offer pre-employment opportunities for those who face barriers driven by these structural inequalities. And one of our programs is working out of a mosque and to really give power to those who've got skills, which will result in them joining our NCA family. And just to bring this to life just briefly, let me share a story of a young woman. Let's call her Sophia. She heard about our pre-employment program through her mosque. She attended the open day we held there. She was visibly shaking. She was quiet. She was nervous. She was bullied at school, subject to racist abuse which reduced her confidence and left her with no qualifications. Prior to joining our program, she'd not left her home in 2 years by a family member due to fear. Sophia now has a permanent job with us. She's gaining functional skills in maths and English at college. She says, "I didn't think the NHS would employ somebody like me. I didn't think I was any good. But this course, it taught me all about roles within the NHS, not just doctors, not just nurses, but I really enjoyed my work experience. I worked in the vaccine hub, and the staff there really welcomed me. When I spoke my community language, they didn't laugh at me. They saw that as a positive thing because it meant I could welcome more people from my community and encourage them to take up the vaccine in our own language." So finally, the unfairness, the inequity that many experience in their daily lives, it's the result of this long-standing discrimination and misunderstanding. What's required is not just the attention of our leaders, but it's for all of us to take on the responsibility of enabling all of us within the NHS to truly live up to the words that are there within the NHS constitution. Everybody counts. Thank you once again for inviting me to say a few words. It's a huge privilege. Thank you.
Thank you very much there to Chris. Now I'm going to bring up an employee from CAHN. Hilda Bertie is CAHN's Health Partnership and Policy Manager.
Good evening all. My slides ready? Yeah, thank you. My name's Hilda Bertie and I am the Health Partnership and Policy Manager, and I'm going to do a short presentation this evening around race and intersectionality. As we all know, this is Black History Month, and that is the month where we observe the important work of Black people from Caribbean and African descent. Often discussions around equality, diversity and inclusion focus on one characteristic. However, there are a number of other characteristics which represent you as an individual. And people's lives are actually shaped by all those different identities. Such intersecting characteristics can influence how we experience, engage, and how we are represented within society. As such, understanding the complex intersections between identities not only strengthen our understanding of equality, diversity and inclusion, but also better equips us to be a more inclusive environment. The term intersectionality was coined by Professor Kimberly Crenshaw back in 1989. And she expressed this concept by the threats of different discrimination which may occur when an individual's identities overlap. She explained that our identities are like traffic flowing at an intersection. One identity may flow in one direction while another identity is flowing in a different direction. Her work initially focused on women, Black women however, but since her work began in 1989, other people have taken on board the terminology intersectionality, and now it's covered across all protected characteristics. To further explain intersectionality, here we have the picture of Dawn Butler. She's the third Black woman to be elected to the UK Parliament. She entered a members-only list in Westminster. A fellow male MP turned to her and said, "This list really isn't for females." Was that a demeaning comment made because she's a woman, a black woman? Or was it because she's a woman? Or was it both? She could be forced to select which single characteristic she could act on as a trigger. As a result of this, Diane has been lobbying for the right to bring forward cases on multiple grounds of discrimination. She argues that it's time the law recognises and provides the so-called intersectionality, or commonly known as dual or multiple discrimination. It's really food for thought. Here we have a range of people. I am sure a lot of these faces you all recognise. And what do they all have in common? Yes, they are all black people. But as I've said previously, they have all different and multiple identities. There are people there that from different genders, different age, different sexuality, people that may be trans, non-binary, people of different ages, religion, people of faith, no faith, etc., etc. So as you can see, it's so important that when you see a black person, you don't just look at them as a black person. They come with multiple identities. And the result of that, discrimination can impact them in many different ways. Final slide. Thank you. So, as organisations, I've come up with 6 points that you can consider to help you to address intersectionality. And because of time, I'll just quickly go through them. First of all, it's about recognising individual identities. So organisations should seek to develop a better understanding of intersectionality and recognise an individual's multiple identities that may overlap. Capturing data to improve intersectionality. How do you actually capture that data? Make sure as an organisation you have appropriate monitoring systems and monitoring forms to capture that. Create a culture of acknowledgement and understanding that can help to sustain an environment of openness and inclusion, giving confidence to both the organisation's employees and customers that they are socially responsible and trustworthy when it comes to this agenda. Capture diversity of thought. A workforce of people from different backgrounds with various abilities and experiences brings positive impact on organisations as a whole. There's a lot of evidence that shows that equality, diversity and inclusion organisations are likely to make better and bolder decisions. 5, help leaders to understand intersectionality. It's important and complex, therefore organisations need to give consideration to how they will equip their leaders with the confidence and skills to address these issues. And 6, educate colleagues on intersectionality. It's okay having your leaders all geared up and understanding intersectionality, but your workforce also needs to be brought up to speed. Therefore, it's absolutely important that your staff are also trained around equality, diversity, inclusion, and I'm going to end by saying it's important that we are guided by the philosophy that we are all entitled to fully participate in society and have control over our own destinies. And that's from Dr. Stewart, the academic in Oxford, York and Surrey Universities, and is an equality and diversity consultant with several years' experience as a trainer and special advisor. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Now, today's event is all about black wealth. The next person I'm going to bring to the stage is Monique. Now, Monique Furrow is the founder and the CEO of Bob Expo. It's a platform for ethnic-specific products, services, and also business owners worldwide. Now, what their aim is to give businesses the exposure they deserve. And the work that they do. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Greetings everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. And we're a huge where CAHN was in the black community. My name is Monique, the founder of Bob Expo, as I was introduced before. Bob Expo is a platform for ethnic-specific products and cultural and diverse products and services. We realise that there's a gap when you easily find ethnic-specific products and services, and we want there to be an inclusive experience for all out there. If you can take a minute of your time, just for you to look at the work that we've done so far. If you look at the screen. Thank you. What you saw we had over 100 businesses showcasing products and services in one room where we invited the public to come and shop and see what was out there. When we started in 2018, our vision was to give these businesses the platform that they deserved, which they do deserve. As you can see, there were so many amazing, tasteful and cultural diverse and services. Products, cultural services and businesses easily accessible so that everybody can find them. We do this through our business exhibitions every year and our online directory. Today we want to meet with so many people so that we can continue the work that we do. We would like to connect with individuals that would like to sponsor our next exhibition, which is going to be in summer 2022. We can't do this alone, and we do believe that it's through community efforts. So today, I would like to, it will be an honour to have the Mayor of Greater Manchester amongst our midst at our 2022 business exhibition in Manchester. And anyone who would like to volunteer and believe in the mission and what we saw and wants to help us to make these businesses be able to showcase and have a platform that deserve. Please do our staff, and we would love to talk to you of how we can work with you to help us to make this possible. Thank you so much.
much, CAHN. Myself.
When I knew how it would feel to be free, I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could sing all the things that I should say, sing loud, sing it clear for the whole wide world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart, remove all the bars that keep us apart. Oh, I wish I could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man should be free. I wish I could give all I need to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. Oh, I wish I could do all the things that I should do. I wish I could slow my way overdue. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. 'Cause I know, yes I know, that I'm way overdue. Oh, I know, yes I know, that I'm way overdue. Oh, I know, yes I know, I feel.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Kaniva. Every time you come on and sing, it just gives me goosebumps all over. Now, at the back of your... Have I not got a big enough mouth that you can hear me now? Is it? So at the back of the programme, you can find out what different events CAHN is going to be doing for Black History Month. So what it will do is invest in enrich our program. Thank you. That's because she took it to church and she brought down the mic. That's what happened. Drop the mic. So what I'm saying is, at the back of your programme, you can find out of all the different events that CAHN are taking place in for Black History Month, and what it will do will enrich our community. We're now going to finish off this evening with a speech. I've been your host, Simone Ryan, Radio Manchester. I'm going to give myself a bit of applause. You can. Oh, thank you. Some fireworks. Join me on Saturday breakfast on BBC Radio Manchester, and also covering my chat on a Sunday on the Gospel for the next month. Charles Cockador, I'm going to bring him now to the stage. One of the men that helped get this together. CAHN's Chief Officer.
Thank you very much, Simone. Before I say a few words, thanks for your generosity. I know we've gone slightly over, but I have two friends, all the way from London, and I want them to say a few words, and then I will give my closing remarks. So, Ola and Jonas, and it's because the vaccine is the biggest thing now, and, it's great to have two people heading the vaccine equality stuff.
Thank you. Last few minutes, and thank you to CAHN for inviting us. I work for NHS Healing and Improvements, which you've heard of, but we're part of the health service, and we've been working with CAHN over the last 18 months in terms of the vaccination to make sure that people from Black African and Black Caribbean heritage get vaccinated. It's a sad fact that there's a significant gap in uptake between Black people's uptake of the vaccine and the majority white population, something like 20%. So Black people aren't getting vaccinated. So our message to you is today, there is no wealth without health. So if you're not healthy, you're not going to be wealthy. So get vaccinated. I'm doing a great job getting the message out as to why the vaccine is safe and that people should get vaccinated. So if you've got any worries about the vaccination, go and ask somebody who knows. Go and find out what you need to know to get the jab in your arm. Because if you don't get the jab in your arm, you will be excluded from all the wonderful things you want to do going forward, because we need a safe population that's vaccinated. So our message to you today is get informed, get vaccinated, ask if you don't know, and create your wealth with your health.
Thank you. Yes, and my name is since we we don't to our community, one of the real things that you, irrespective of how they follow this thing, this particular pandemic is really killing people. And it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter. What we want to really, really please take care of yourself as the first thing, and second, get vaccinated, and get any of the decision making. And I think that will probably be something that we need to add to the conversation. We hope that in the coming months we will be working with CAHN nationally initiative going on, and we will definitely, we know you're not in London and we try to pull you back into London, but we will try as much as possible to support CAHN in the work you are doing across the country. And that's what we give you. So very much for you.
It's a great privilege, and thank you all. And, you know, right out of, I mean, when CAHN was set, you know, we is really what we do, and so thank you. We will as well giving us this place and all the comments. Hoping to see you here on the 28th for Claxon. So because the organization, you know, we've increased in size, you know, but I support finally the community is your wealth, help us not say every health interest. If that is all we did without objectives. So one of the donors. So in the month of October, as part of Black History Month, we want to organize group donations. So we'll be calling on you. We know people living with sickle cell are predominantly that we can work. But in the month we'll work with our first many we're going to do see as a community that is taking destiny grow what we eat, but also want to look after our health. We don't need that national campaign to drive obesity levels down. We just with the portion, the level of wealth building, yeah. For the first time in Greater Manchester, we run it right from years ago. The community, and we're looking forward to those 44 organizations that are receiving 5, 10, or 15,000 over the 6 to 12 months. So once again, thank you all your time. The stores that remain, spend some cash. Some of them have card payment machines as well. So if you don't have cash, you don't have to worry. Just swipe the card. Thank you for all you do. Thanks, Simone. Thanks to the amazing directors, the staff who have worked tirelessly, wonderful volunteers, and our patrons. Thanks. Have a wonderful, safe journey back home, and look after yourself as we jam, you need a booster as well. And if you have any concerns about the vaccine, we have a helpline. There are many black doctors. You can speak your local language and they will give you that information. Thank you everybody and see you back home.